action.
So Chris, if you can give
All right,
me...
go. Got it. Action.
So Chris, if you can give me an example of a personal A story for you.
I knew from a very young age that I wanted to be a performer, entertainer. I was a very bombastic little kid, always on, always trying to make a joke or do a little play or whatever. My grandpa, for all intents and purposes, was the patriarch of the family. And he was a colonel in the Air Force during the Vietnam War. And he did not approve very much. He thought, and this was his go-to line, "Chris, you know, you're so smart. Why don't you be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that?" And, you know, that's a little bit hard to know that your family isn't going to support you in following your dream. And it became especially apparent when I was coming up into high school. You know, high school, you got to think about where you're going to be going, what you're going to be doing. High school isn't about high school. High school is about getting into college. So my freshman year of high school, I took my first film class. I was 14 years old, and I directed my first picture. And it was an unmitigated disaster, and nobody will ever see it, ever. When we screened it at the end of the year film festival, people were bawling, laughing in the audience because it was so badly made, even though it was supposed to be a very tense horror drama about zombies. But while we were filming it, on our big day, the big day when we were filming our chase scene, we had, I think somewhere like 10 extras playing the zombies, 3 people in the main cast, and a really bare bones crew. It was a small thing. We didn't even really have sound equipment. We were shooting on DV tape. And my grandpa came to set, and he never told me about this until afterwards, but he saw me. I was basically acting as the director, the first assistant director, the second assistant director, and the production manager, all in one. So I was, you know, having the safety meeting, I was wrangling all the crew, I was wrangling all the extras, getting them from makeup to, and, you know, running lines, and I was acting in it because I had an actor bail at the last minute. So I was also having to be in front of the camera as well, which was horrible. But he told me afterwards that I had completely turned him around, and now he has been ever since pushing me to follow my dream and chase my dream and become a filmmaker. He still wants me to go to college and double major in something practical, but getting my grandpa's approval and having him tell me I was a great leader is what kind of, you know, put it into my mind and cemented it that this is what I'm meant to be doing.
Excellent.
Thank you. All right, and whenever you're ready, action.
If we could have you tell us a personal A story, Ryan, please, that would be...
A personal A story. Well, I remember last year, it was June, it was after my birthday, and I work at a quick service restaurant, but really it's fast food. And I primarily serve chicken. That's what we're known for serving. And it was a pretty intense day because pretty much everybody and their moms had graduation that day. And our managers were actually out for something called EDC. It's like a EDM festival in Las Vegas. So we had 4 managers out. One was in the kitchen, 3 of them up front. We had multiple people, including some team leads, were graduating or participating in graduation. So I really had to step up and be a leader. My shift was 6:30 to 2. I ended up working 6:30 in the morning to 10 at night. And I was just doing everything. I was cutting lemons, juicing lemons. I was helping out front counter doing things. I was stocking ourselves up for the morning time. I was getting everything possibly that I could do. I was doing everything that I could possibly do to make sure that the store was going to run well because we were short staffed as it is. We ended up doing a lot of sales that day. That was one of our busiest days of the whole entire year. And one thing that I realized is, number one, I don't want to work in fast food for the rest of my life. And then number 2, I realized that you have to be able to know every single little detail and aspect. And that's something that I want to continue to work on every single day, whether it's at this place that I work at right now, or as it comes to my career. I want to make sure that I learn everything, because not everything is all glamour. Not everything is in front of the camera. Not everything is getting on the mic. You won't always be able to get on the mic. You won't always be able to get on the camera, but you should be able to do the little things that will help you eventually be able to get on that mic, to get on that camera. And that's what I was able to do that day at that restaurant. I was able to do the little things that people didn't recognize that I could do, that helped me, contribute to the store and make the store and help the store run and help us get to our goal of reaching an incredible sales amount, a record-breaking amount for our store. So that's what I've learned, and that's how I try to apply to my career, whether it's radio or TV, every day.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Rolling, speed, action.
Thank you for coming. Do you have a personal A story you could tell me about yourself?
Yeah, I do. So growing up, I got a lot of my morals, principles, and work ethic from athletics. I've always been involved in athletics, and it's been my favorite part of growing up. So I guess it mostly started around 7th grade, because we had this professional hockey team come in, or field hockey team come in, and I had never played the sport before in my life. I don't even watch hockey still to this day, but at the time they came in and they're like, okay, we are, like, for all of Ventura County, which is where I'm from, they were putting together this tournament for every single middle school within the county, and they were just picking people from each 7th grade class to make a team of 12 or 13, and then we were going to go compete in this giant tournament. And so I was really nervous because I had never played the sport. I didn't even know anything about it. And so when they came in and they started teaching us, I just made it my mission to learn everything that I could for them. I was watching every single thing they did. I was practicing right after they did to show us what we were supposed to do. And I just applied myself and worked my butt off so that I could make this team. And out of my whole entire 7th grade class, I was one of the kids who was picked to go and play the field hockey tournament. And I was so excited because that was the first time when I actually felt confident in myself enough to be like, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to watch what everyone else is doing, learn from them, and I'm going to make this happen for myself because this is what I want. So, like, now, if I don't have experience or if I'm a little bit uncomfortable with what I'm doing, I don't really worry about it anymore, because I know that if I apply myself and I just keep going, that I will eventually succeed or exceed my goals of what I set for myself.
Thank you. Excellent. And whenever you're ready.
Okay, so what is your personal A story that you would like to share?
It's more of from basketball. I'm a huge fan of basketball. What I've learned, how I can compare the aspects of basketball to life. So there's 3 basic things with when you have a ball in basketball. You can take the shot, you can pass it, or you can just hold on to it and wait. So I learned that some moments you just want to go for it, take the shot, and see what happens. Sometimes you just want to pass it, give it to someone else, you're not ready for it. Or you just need a time to think, dribble the ball, and just sit on it. But the clock's always ticking, so you have to make a choice. You can't just hold on to the ball. So you either go for it or you give it up. And you can make 9 out of 9 shots, and then the next one, you don't know. It's always different. There's small, little adjustments you always have to make. And you take the shot. And if you miss it, you can go and get it again, or someone else might get it. So it's up to you. If you really want it, you can get it, or someone else, whoever wants it more, is most likely gonna get the rebound. And I think also you can get fouled. Life can knock you down. Sometimes people will see it, they'll try to help you. They'll give you free throws. Sometimes they don't see it, they don't call it. And you just have to pick yourself back up and keep going. So there's a lot I learned from basketball that I can put in my life.
Thank you. And rolling. Action.
Hi. What is a personal A story that you can tell us?
This is a really simple story, but when I was about 8 years old, I started playing guitar, and my best friend started playing as well, and she would practice 24/7, and she got a lot better than I was, and I had a teacher, and I'd practice once a week, and I was always wondering why. She was always better than me, and I realized that you need to dedicate a lot of time to the things you love, and I feel like that transfers over to film editing now, and if you want to do it, then you need to dedicate your life to it.
Thank you. Good. Hold on one second. And action.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi.
So what's your personal A story?
So I think I learned a lot about myself, like just through these past 3 years, starting college, and I went in as a child development major at Fullerton and thinking that was the only thing that was going to be set for me, like that was my life and that was what I was going to do. And I noticed that it didn't settle with me, right? There's something saying that this is not what you're supposed to do, and so it got me to like transferring out of there, trying to take more time, just coming like to a community college to just take time and figure out what I want to do. And I think a lot of it had to do with my thinking of like, okay, what job is gonna get me this amount of income so I can live comfortably, or stuff like that. And I think once I got over that, I realized like I realized like my passion is in a lot of creative things, and that's something that I need to pursue. So even like landing on this decision to do film, like study film, I think I've been the most comfortable where I'm at, and I think it has a lot to do with just overcoming just doubts and things like that for me. So.